unashamedly human with a diagnosis that is only a part of who I am.
It's Tuesdays with Tawana. Let's get it. You ready? Let's go. Hey, beloveds, what's good? It's Tuesdays with Tawana. Let's get it. You ready? Let's go. Let's go. It's Tuesday. I'm so happy to be in community amid the crisis we are in right now, but I'm so grateful to be here, grateful to share in this moment. Grateful for you, for community that continues to tap in every week. Please like, please share, please subscribe to any of your podcast platforms. # Tuesdays with Tawana. Let's grow, let's build, especially during this time where there is so much fake news and false information out there. And here we have a chance to dialogue and to speak truth to powers. I am Dr. Tad, your host and your curator for Tuesdays with Tawana. And welcome to Season 5, Episode 171. Welcome to those who are joining for the first time. Welcome back to those who continue to ride with me on and off consistently, whatever, every once in a while. I am grateful. So let's get it popping. First and foremost, I want to pause. I want to pause for a moment, just honoring those in Southern California, those who have been impacted, all those who have been impacted directly, indirectly. Just want to hold space for a moment and to let beloveds know that you are seen. We are grieving with you and doing what's necessary to instill hope. And my definition of hope is not some pious definition where you sit there and you sit quietly and passively. And no, my hope is rooted in St. Augustine and Dr. Alan Bozak, who says hope has two daughters, anger and courage. Anger at the way things are, anger at the ignoring of climate change, anger at the arson, anger at the disrespect and dehumanization and marginalization of our Black women leaders, angry at the insurance companies for canceling policies, angry at our current government leadership, anger. And the other daughter is courage. The courage to make sure that things don't remain the way they are. So I am in a stance of hope where I am naming my anger and I am naming my courage to speak truth to power and to invite community into this space where not only we can support, help, and cover and protect those in Altadena, but also other areas and other places and spaces where LA is a very diverse area. Excuse me, Southern California is a very diverse area. So you have some who have whatever, from soup to nuts, and I am sending love to all, and hoping that community will outnumber, outdo the heinous responses that we have been receiving from President-elect. Instead of saying, we're with you, we're going to make sure that all of the aid, we're going to pour in as much aid as we can. We were quick to pour in 100 million or whatever to other countries for war. As Tupac said, we have money for war but can't feed the poor. And right now it's not just about poor on an economic standpoint. It's about poor in losing what one once had and looking to restore and to reclaim and to heal in these very trying times. So LA, we see you, we got you. I see a lot of feet on the ground. I see a lot of people using their platform to galvanize support. I see a lot, and I choose to, because what you focus on expands, right? We talk about that all the time here on Tuesdays with Tawana. What you focus on expands. So we are focusing on the good people that are going to come through, build community, help rebuild these homes, and not looking for anyone else to save us. I said this in one of my live Facebook lives a few days ago, when I just needed to pour out to the folk in Southern California and those beyond who are impacted by this, that we got to come together and build community, because no one is going to come and save us. So I see lists going around about resources and places that we can send, knowing that the resources will get to the people. I see checklists on how to prepare if you need to evacuate, if you haven't evacuated already. I see messages that say, don't sell, don't fall for any schemes, our elders, double check with your people before you sign anything. There is legal help out there. There is wisdom and support. So hold on to what you have. Do not let it go. Do not give up. Do not wane. Do not waver. Do not give in. Hold on. Hold on. We also pause to honor those who have lost their lives in the fire. I believe it's about 24 now. And with that, with the 24 lives that we have lost, we honor them, we pray for the families, and we are grateful that that number, considering how destructive these fires have been, that there haven't been more human loss. Not to negate or to dismiss those that were lost, because one is too many. One is too many. So today, I want to chop it up just a bit. So I talk about crisis because my seminary professor, Dr. Carolyn McCrary, said crisis is a dangerous opportunity. And I give her credit for that. I don't know if that came from somewhere else, but this is where I learned it, and this is where I give credit too, as I cite Black women. Amen. Crisis is a dangerous opportunity. And in this crisis, we do have an opportunity to sacrifice, to speak out, to be antithetical to the powers that be, to co-create, to be the divine human beings that we are. Because although we may not have seen this in our lifetime, our foreparents and our ancestors have seen this. So that, again, having that Sankofa moment, reaching back to bring forth that which will work for us, that which is good for us, that which is building community. Hey, LJ, good to see you. Grifting gentrifiers are on the predatory prowl. Please don't let your stuff go. Prayers for Altadena and LA. Yeah, that's a word. That's a word. Yeah, please don't let anything go. Don't sell. Don't. I can't say this enough. So, in this crisis, this dangerous opportunity, we have this opportunity to reach back and to bring forth that which we have learned from the past and take it and apply it to today. Because as a person of faith, I truly believe that God's word transcends space and time. And because we are created in God's image and likeness, that our experiences transcend space and time. So even though what may have happened in 1864 or in 1973 or in 2025, that our acumen, our spiritual prowess, our brilliance, our community, our communal stance still carries through and transcends space and time. So this is why it's so important that we know about our history and why they want to erase the history, because white supremacists and white ideological thinking wants to erase that, because if they don't erase it, then it reminds them of the heinous behaviors that their foreparents have instilled and instituted on others who don't look like them, aren't white. And that's ideological, period, because there are some people that look like me that have white ideologies, full stop. So they're going to erase the past, not just because of our accomplishments, because everything that they have, everything that we have had some sort of creative input into this. Whether it's the food we eat, whether it's mechanics, whether it's street lights, whether it's GPS, all things we have had our hand in. And so instead of honoring us and giving us our due, because reparations is more than monetary, they decided to ban books, to ban history, to ban DEI, even when DEI is proven. If you want to talk about money and capitalism, it is proven that when you have a diverse workforce, that your workforce, you can sustain a workforce and your bottom line increases. This is research. This is facts. And they'd rather throw that all away in order to be the self-centered, narcissistic people that they are. Full stop. And this moment, because sometimes, and I learned this during preaching, sometimes when we say they, right, we're just lumping all these people together. And then the they don't realize that I'm talking to you. It's like somebody who always comes in late, right? And the teacher, professor, boss, or whoever is on time and starts the meeting on time and starts talking about their disdain for people coming in late. But you're talking to the wrong people, because the people that are late aren't there to hear it. And you should be having a private conversation with that person to ensure, I'm talking to you, President-elect. I am talking to you when you disrespect Governor Newsom and don't say his name properly, when you disrespect Mayor, the Honorable Karen Bass, when you disrespect President-elect the 3 fire chiefs, when you point the finger and blame and you want, it's not where I wanted to go. But yeah, I'm talking to you and all your cronies. Full stop. Full stop. So here we are in this crisis, another crisis to add on to the medical crisis, the houseless crisis, to add on to, and I don't want to call immigration a crisis. I'm calling it's rooted in racism and classism. It's not a crisis. You know, we in America, you know, what happened to give us you're poor, you're tired, and you're hungry? What happened to being a safe space for those seeking asylum from places that are enduring war, and probably wars that we had a lot to do with, because we want those natural resources in those particular countries. So we provide aid to these other countries to then invade those countries, and then when they come to seek asylum here, we want to turn them away, and we want to call them criminals, and we want to call them, you know, ignorant. And we are in such crisis mode right now, and our leadership is not helping. So how do we move into this space of a dangerous opportunity? We got to name the danger and then use our prowess, our power, our divinity to turn it into an opportunity. I want to read a couple of things. Let me just pull it up. So Bishop Francine Brookins of the AME Church of the 5th District, and California is a part of the 5th District. She posted today, current situation in Los Angeles area. High winds expected through tomorrow night. Bottled water only in certain areas because of flame retardants in the water. Instructions to charge phones and prepare for evacuation. Leave immediately when there is a warning so that you don't have to get to the orders to leave for your own safety. Disaster relief centers are opening today. Rescue operations underway. Several arrests for arson and looting. Still no rain. Having said all that, we are believing God for deliverance in some kind of way. So this is how we look at this crisis, and we got to identify what the crisis is and then create opportunities, co-create opportunities to live and not die at the systemic ills, to live and not die by the vitriolic behavior of those who are causing these fires, because these fires were caused by arson, which were then magnified by climate change that President-elect and his cronies are ignoring. So we are feeling the effects of climate change: more fires, more hurricanes, more tornadoes, more snow in areas that don't normally get snow. And so it's just, the list goes on and on and on. So how do we turn this crisis, this danger, into an opportunity? To turn it into community, to turn it into safety, to turn it into provision, to turn it into protection, to turn it into control of our communities, our bodies, our work, our just who we are and how we show up in the world. That's supposed to be free. We have Zuckerberg talking about, oh, now I'm going to take off all the fact checking, and just because it's antithetical to freedom of speech. No, freedom of speech does not mean that you have the right to degrade and demean and disrespect and dishonor other human beings. It means that you have a right to your beliefs and your stance. If you believe in MAGA, you have a right to believe in that. But then what is MAGA saying? If you want to believe in, you call your higher power, your higher self, the universe, God, Allah, Buddha, you have the right to do that. but you do not have the right to come and disrespect me as a human being. You don't have the right to call me out of my name. That is not freedom of speech. That is whiteness. That is one way. That is self-centeredness. That's narcissism. That is hate and sexism and patriarchy and misogyny and misogynoir. All of that cannot be in the same sentence as freedom. It cannot. LJ said free speech is not free. With any right, there is a responsibility. You can't yell fire in a crowded theater without consequence. Same thing. Same thing. You can't do that. You're not supposed to do that. It's not the intent. That's not the intent. You're twisting this into this power and control because white thought, white ideology, white supremacists, they talk about power over instead of power with. And we are supposed to have power with, so that if I have and you don't, I should share and give. That doesn't mean that I give out of me then falling into a space of lack, because actually lack won't exist. I posted earlier today that abundance is not this thing that you acquire, it's something you tap into. And white people don't get that. They don't get it. Because for me, as a black woman of African descent, we get Ubuntu. We get Nguzu Saba. We understand African traditional religions. We understand honoring our elders. We understand family beyond bloodlines. We understand when I don't have, if you don't have, I'm not okay. We understand that. So we're living in this world, like W.E.B. Du Bois talks about, this double consciousness, right? You know, this two-ness, where I'm showing up trying to be I'm being my true self. And it is antithetical to what this nation is offering. And it has been. It's nothing new. It just shows up different. It looks different. And it looks worse because now we have this access, this overwhelming access that is encouraging our young people not to read, to affirm themselves in the public eye, to not think critically, to fall for materialism and materialism only, which there is nothing wrong with wanting material things. I want clothes to put on my back. I want a roof over my head. It's wrong when it takes away from somebody else, or it demeans or degrades somebody else. Crisis. We're in a crisis mode. I want to read something else by Natasha Robinson, Esquire, my beloved sibling. She said, them. You share a lot about your life. Me. Not really. I share 100% of the 15% I actually have going on. That statement, that was so powerful, because we are in a space where we feel like we have to share just everything without a goal, without a strategy, without an end game, and then we get lost and it becomes all these squiggly lines together with no end in sight. I share maybe about 25% of what I'm going through. And I'm pretty open about my healing journey, because I want us to look at healing differently than what I was taught growing up, where people would pray and say healing would only happen if God takes the cancer away. Or healing only happens when you're alive. Healing can't happen when someone dies, right? So I share my story to shift that narrative, or I share my story of domestic violence survivorship to put a face to survivorship, to give someone hope, anger at the way things are, and the courage to get out of that situation in a way that is wise, that is strategic, that is prayerful, that is communal. So it all comes together, but it's not this mishmash of just information overload and you don't know what to do with it. We have lost the foundation of who we are and how we show up just based on who we are. Who I am is not defined by anyone else. I define who I am. Me and God, the God in me, and the existential God, we work it out and we think about how am I called to show up in this world? What am I called to do? Because I am here, created in the image and likeness of God, to fill some sort of void in this world. Like the world needed me. The world needed you. The world needed LJ. The world needed you for such a time as this. So reflect on this crisis and what you are called to do to turn this from danger into an opportunity. Healing ain't easy. I talk about that all the time. In order for you to heal, that means something has been harmed. So healing is not going to be easy. Crisis and identifying it as a dangerous opportunity may not be easy, but it can be done. And how can it be done? It can be done in community and not individualistic. It can be done with power with instead of power over. It can be done with honoring each other and each other's cultures and being curious about each other instead of judging. It could be in the fullness thereof instead of compartmentalized like one way, and one way is the right way, and honoring this written word. And if I say it and I have the power, and miss me with all of that. Miss me with it. Our mere existence is resistance. As Audre Lorde says, the personal is political. Just me saying these things is a part of my personal being political, because I have to fight for the right to live and survive while we are in crisis mode. So, beloveds, as we are dealing with a crisis, whatever that crisis might be, as we are dealing with this, what is this? This might be your personal crisis, a mental health crisis, a financial crisis, my God, today. Crisis of losing your home, whether it's to a fire or foreclosure. A crisis of a change in your family dynamics. A crisis in your health. A crisis in your well-being. A crisis in your community with food deserts and, hospitals that aren't large teaching hospitals, so you don't have access to the top health care. Whatever your crisis is, I see you. And you and I and we have an opportunity to define crisis as a dangerous opportunity. And what are we going to do with that opportunity? How are we going to turn this around? How are we going to restore? How are we going to heal? How are we going to unconditionally love with positive regard? How are we going to honor our beloveds? How are we going to stand with our beloveds? How are we going to give voice in spaces and places that try to silence us? How are we going to show up and speak truth to power? How are we going to do this? We are going to do this collectively. We are going to do this strategically. It has been done before. and we can do it again. To beloveds who are experiencing a crisis, particularly the ones that are out loud right now in Southern California, in LA, in our predominantly Black communities, I see you, and I will do everything that I can to be a part of community, and I invite you, beloveds, to do the same. I am because you are. And if you are hurting, I am hurting. And I am praying for you and with you, with my hands, my feet, my voice, my platform, whatever it takes, by all means necessary. Understanding what a crisis is and how we don't have to stay there in crisis mode, because we have a dangerous opportunity to shift the narrative. Beloveds, this is Dr. Tad with Tuesdays with Tawana, every Tuesday, 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, right here on Facebook Live. And then you can find it at some point in time today and beyond on all of your platforms. Just put in hashtag Tuesdays with Tawana and subscribe, and you can listen at any time while you're in your car, while you're doing dishes, while whatever. Just relaxing. Don't forget to rest. Trisha Hersey says we will rest. So even in the midst of this crisis, find some time to regroup and to clear your mind and to breathe deeply, because breathing is a sign of community. And it's a reminder that we may be in crisis mode, but we don't have to stay here, and we have a dangerous opportunity to turn this around. Beloveds, I love you dearly. I thank you as always for joining me on Tuesdays with Tawana. And listen, episode 171 is now complete. Wow, 5 seasons. Can't believe it. I love you dearly. Have an amazing day. And just know that I see you. And I love you. I'm out. Later.